What's going on? I'm Spencer Tillis.
I'm Trayvon Miles.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. Coming up in just a bit in today's episode, the title was on the line in the capital city, Dover, looking to be crowned conference champs as they took on Milford. Highlights in just a bit.
And we cannot forget about the Bayside Stephen Decatur girls looking for that back-to-back, taking on undefeated Kent Island.
Back-to-back. Plus, SU is looking for their second straight CAC title. Speaking of back-to-back, well, they had a little trouble in OT. We'll get to those highlights as well and the call that everybody is talking about. But we got to start things off with the big one right here in the Bayside. We got the title game going on the line. Pocomoke, a little fortuitous getting into the game. You know, won a little bit of a coin flip, taking on the Vikings team that won it outright, and this ended up being a great game. Poco looking for their first title since 2003, while the Vikings hadn't won this thing in 8 years. Early on, the Vikings, though, looking like they were the team right at home. Niall Thompson gets out in transition. Finger roll finished a few plays after that. Dre Green hangs and hits it right there, finishes with the left hand for the and one. The Warriors would get a spark, though, from this guy, Leander Roberts. Return to sender, then gets a near dunk, and then he's going to go ahead and get one more ridiculous block right there. Why would you try that? It was unbelievable. They would actually still have a lead, though, after the first quarter. And then right here before the end of the first quarter, Tyler Nixon gets the and one to drop off the floater. The Vikings kept pushing in the second quarter, though. Michael Richardson's three ball off the mark, but Green is there, weak side, tips it back up and in for two. Cambridge was up a bucket at half. Second half, completely different story. Pocomoke took over. Nixon finds Jarek Johnson, who knocks down the ring or the triple there on the wing. And then the senior would have another big second half of that. And then the time to celebrate down there as Pocomoke is taking the hardware back with them 61-47 the final. And this was just a really impressive game for both sides. I actually left thinking I was more impressed in some ways with Cambridge than what I was with Pocomoke, because that first half, I mean, I remember talking before the game. I thought it was going to be about a 25-point game.
I agree.
I thought Pocomoke was going to roll them. The Vikings played their style. They defended, they rebounded, they controlled the ball. They did everything they needed to that first half. Second half, though, I mean, at some point that Pocomoke press is going to get to you. It did, and that created the difference. And a big congrats out to Coach Fuchs and that squad.
I was just talking to Washington head coach Nick Purnell. Perhaps the change in scenery, a bigger floor, may have created some more space for Pocomoke to get that press going. Nevertheless, Cambridge stuck in it, and you got to give a lot of credit to them. All right, well, we had another title game. This one, of course, in Delaware. Milford Bucks, undefeated winners of the Henlopen South, squaring off against Dover, the undefeated leaders of the North. Now, Milford's second consecutive appearance in the title game ran into the same type of beast in the same gym. Jordan Allen just inside the three-point line. Senators take a lead. A little bit later, they are adding to it. It's my guy Trayvon Moore with that great name. In for two more. Senators led by just two at halftime. Second half, Bucks making a run at it. Devin Kravitz right there. And Milford, they will be looking for a little bit more. Breon Murray to the corner, finds Sal Martinez. And you know what? Son is hyped right now, as he always is. Three-point game headed to the fourth, but Dover would put it away in this frame. Stephen Justice, lefty jam. Jordan Allen with another 39 for JA, and the Senators are your Henlopen champions. They win it by a score of 72-59.
Feels great. We came from nothing. We gelled together within 3 years. We stuck to the plan, and that's it. So it's a blessing.
That easy, 39 points. It's
Yeah,
nothing.
just
whatever. All right, well, great effort by Milford. You can see they really wanted this game. They're one of the most emotional teams in the state of Delaware, and but just the talent that Dover possesses, 39 for Allen right there. They'll lean on him for the rest of the postseason, and hopefully they can get a title out of it.
Yeah, they got the third seed in the playoffs, so they're going to have an opportunity to make a bit of a run right now. Smyrna is right there as well, the four seed, so two teams trying to open. Chance to make some serious noise this year. That's going to be fun to watch. Well, let's take things back here to Maryland. Playoffs start on Monday for Delaware. Well, they started on Friday over here in Maryland, and we officially had a big-time showdown going on in the 2A as YI made the trip up the road. Your Indians taking on Easton, and early on, well, it was all about Barry Gaines Jr. Well, he's going to find JoJo Brittingham inside. He finishes for 2 points right there. He had actually 14 on the night. Back come the Warriors at the other end. TJ Nixon, my boy, going to go ahead and go a little floater. That's a drops in, and that would be the and one you're talking about right there, Trey. Y-High answering right back, though. Devontae Dixon gets in the corner. He has had some kind of year, man. No lights too bright for this kid right there. Hits the corner three ball right there. Easton trying to hang around in this thing. Ryan Farr, transition, Euro step, finish for two. Sophomore had a big year as well. Y-High, though, Well, they're going to end up continuing on that season as Gaines gets the and one putback. They get the win 71-48. And for me, Waller preached all year about this team and how no one wanted to see them when it came playoff time. And I know they've gotten better, but this is more about how Easton kind of fell apart this year. I mean, they started off red hot to start the year. They had some injuries. They had a really tough stretch where they had to deal with some things. But they're just not the same squad that we saw at the beginning of the year. They just kind of ran out of gas on the stretch.
Yeah, we saw some players that they had at the beginning of the year, and we were like, man, this team could really compete for a North Championship. Get to the season, they're not looking so well in the beginning. Get to the end of the season, they're completely depleted. Yeah. I looked up, and it was a 30-point game in the third quarter. And I thought to myself, wow, what has happened to this Easton team? But a great win for Y-High.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going back to the Bayside North. Ken Island hosted a home playoff game, not during football season. Can you believe it? They hosted North Carolina last night. Home team jumping out to an early lead here. My man, Big Ben Young, he's going to find Tariq Johnson stepping into the rhythm three. That kid is good. Back comes the Dogs, though. Joey Adams, he had a great game last night, shaking his defender, gets the floater just over Moore. In for two, a few plays later. Since we're talking about football season, how about we throw in a David Bailey Jr. highlight here? He hits the free throw line jumper. Bucks would have the answer, though. Frankie Catterville, he's going to get some space and go lefty off the glass. A sweet move right there. And a few plays later, it would be the big man, Big Young. Double team, nothing. As Ken Island is moving on, they win it 76-67. Now, North Carolina was not a team that I really expected to come in and win really far, but they winning some games in the North. Give Ken Island some credit. Can't say enough about Tariq Johnson and the games that he has, but to throw a 6'8" skilled guy on the floor, you kind of wish that they had some more pieces to see what this team could do. But nevertheless, they're playing against their rival in Queen Anne's, and we're expecting a good game either way.
Yeah, we might see a little bit more Young, too. He's getting talked to by Wesley. He might end up over there. And if he does, we'll be seeing him for at least 4 more years, which would be good. And we got to talk about the craziest game that definitely happened last night, and a game that nobody was looking at on their radar. North Dorchester at home, taking on a winless St. Michael's team. All the recipes for a game that would be a sleeper, and this thing ended up being ridiculous. Let's get straight to those highlights in this thing, because it was all about my man right here, Daquan Malone. Pulls up from deep, buries the 3 ball. Now, mind you, they only had 5 players suit up in this game. Now, shortly after that, Daquan Johnson misses the lane right here, but Jordan Smith is there to tip it back up and in for 2. They were up 30 at half, about what people would expect. But my man Malone was still cooking. He called himself the mailman that night and delivered a 3, and then he's going to go ahead and bring 1 more from the left wing, exact same spot, 35 points. That was in the third quarter. He was not done yet. St. Michael's trying to hang around the thing. Devin Stanford answers the long ball of his own. The night, though, belonged to this guy. Look at where he shot this from. That's mid-court.
Come on.
He had 47 points on the night. That is ridiculous. They ended up finishing the game with 3 players after 2 fouled out, and somehow they still get the win, 88-48, the final.
Have you ever been in that kind of a rhythm before?
Nah, everything was falling. I was shooting from half court. Everything was falling.
Everything was falling. Chrisville at home last night taking on Mardella. Crabbers on the attack. Alice Cohen all the way in for 2 right there. I'll tell you what, Chrisville's tough at home, but the Warriors came right back. Caleb Corbin, he gets loose in transition. What a year he's had as well for those Warriors. But Chrisville, they kind of put this one away. Nathan Kerm on the 3 ball on the wing. It's Crabbers. They're marching on. They win this by a score of 69-55.
Shout out to our intern, Kenny, for filming that game for us, man, helping us out a little bit. Well, it's time for that first commercial break, but coming up next, we're still talking hoops, but it's time to take it over to the ladies. Their turn. Keep it right here. That's straight ahead.
My name is Logan Thomas. I wrestle 145 for Delmar, and you're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.